Hey everyone, Josh here, and thank you so much for checking us out. Today, we get to break down the last of our 3 macronutrients. Now, if you've been following us so far, we've already gone through carbs and protein. So naturally, today we get to finish the mini-series talking about fat. Like our previous videos, we're going to dive into the basic nutritional science behind fat, learn its function within our bodies, and I'm going to talk about how much fat we should eat, as well as look at the single most common question that I'm asked when it comes to eating fat. And sneak preview, it has to do with keto. Let's just get started. Before starting off with the science behind fats, the first concept that I want to talk about is cholesterol. If you're not familiar, basically we have 2 different types. HDL, or high density lipoproteins, and this is considered our good cholesterol because HDL takes cholesterol to your liver so that your liver can get rid of it. On the flip side, you also have LDL, or low density lipoproteins, and this is considered our bad cholesterol. The LDL takes cholesterol essentially through your arteries, and this can lead to a buildup and clogged arteries down the road, and that's a problem. Now that we've talked a little bit about cholesterol, let's take a look at the fat molecule. Now, fat molecules have something that looks kind of like a 3-carbon chain called glycerol that looks like this. In addition, we have what's called a fatty acid chain, which looks like that. It's important to know this because we're going to talk about something that you may have heard before: unsaturated fat versus saturated fats and trans fats. Starting off with saturated fats, this simply means that within our fatty acid chain, there is a maximum number of hydrogen atoms, well, as much as possible. So the molecule is basically saturated. These typically are solid at room temperature. For example, butter, cheese, lard, or any fat that you might eat on some meat. Unsaturated fats, there is a double bond between the carbons, so there are actually fewer hydrogen atoms. These fats are usually liquid at room temperature, but not always. Some examples of unsaturated fats would be vegetable oils, most nuts, fish, and avocados. And the reason this is important is because studies show that diets where you consume high amounts of saturated fat actually increase your LDL, which we know is bad, where unsaturated fats lower the LDL and raise your HDL. And this gives you a healthy heart. Looking at food labels, make sure to keep your eye on the number of saturated fats that any product might contain. The suggested limit for saturated fat consumption is about 8 grams per 1,000 calories, but personally, I'd recommend cutting that in half. So moving along, we have trans fats. Now, there are naturally occurring and artificially created trans fats. Now, you remember us talking about the fatty chain acids before? Well, trans fats are made when the molecule just has extra hydrogens. Now, trans fats are bad, and avoid them as much as possible. In fact, artificial trans fats are so unhealthy that the United States FDA, or Food and Drug Administration, actually banned them in June of 2018. If you ever look at the ingredients label of a food and you see something like partially hydrogenated oils or fully hydrogenated oils, just put it down, walk away, and your body will thank you. The main reason why trans fats are bad, even naturally occurring trans fats, are because they lower your good cholesterol, or HDL, and they raise your bad cholesterol, or LDL. And since nobody wants heart disease, it's best to just avoid trans fats as much as possible. Whew. Now that we're all up to speed on fats and what to look for on a food label, let's dive into what I would call one of the most important functions that fat has within our bodies. Now, if you don't know, there are 2 different types of vitamins: water-soluble vitamins, which are B and C, and fat-soluble vitamins, which are A, E, D, and K. Now, that simply means that the ones I mentioned, A, E, D, and K, require the consumption of fat in order to dissolve the vitamins so that our body can use them. A helps with vision, reproduction, skin care. D helps strengthen your bones and immune system. E helps flush toxins out of the body, and K is great for bone health as well as blood clotting. Now, one aspect of fat-soluble vitamins to keep in mind is that unlike water-soluble vitamins, where your body just uses what it needs and you pee out the rest, fat-soluble vitamins, well, your body kind of struggles to get rid of it. Well, so any extra that you have in your body, well, it's just stored in your fat cells. If you have rapid weight loss, this can actually lead to an extra release of these vitamins, and it can surprisingly poison you. I guess too much of a good thing is bad. All right, now time for the weight loss aspect. When it comes to how much fat you should eat in a day, personally, I recommend taking your body weight in pounds and multiply that number by 0.35. For example, if someone were to weigh 200 pounds, they would multiply 200 by 0.35. That would come out to eating 70 grams of fat per day. Now, this will vary a little bit based on the individual, but the formula we mentioned is a great starting place. Alrighty. Lastly, the most common question I'm asked when it comes to fat consumption actually has to do with keto. And first and foremost, keto was a diet originally created to help children who have epilepsy and deal with seizures. It is very, and I mean very strict. When I first heard people tell me, I'm doing keto, my response was, oh wow, have you found that it helps with your seizures? Needless to say, that kind of caused a lot of confusion. So modern day keto is not the original or actual keto diet. It's, in my opinion, a variation of Atkins, which is basically a carb restriction diet. The reason this is a poor diet plan is ketosis is your backup way of producing energy. Not to mention that research still shows that your body considers ketones to be a toxin. Hence why they get flushed out through your urine, and I know this sounds silly, but you legitimately breathe ketones out. I mean, that's how much your body does not want them in your system. Now, all of this is not to say that you can't lose weight on the keto diet. You 100% can. But I mean, in all fairness, you can lose weight eating nothing but fast food. Weight loss does not make something safe or healthy. Short-term carb restriction is common, especially in the fitness world. However, it is always short-term. My best advice, if you're thinking about doing the keto diet, please don't. And if you really think it's right for you, talk to a registered dietitian. All the research that we have shows that being in a state of ketosis is harmful to your body, and there aren't enough long-term studies done to prove otherwise. As it stands, our research shows that 6-month weight loss on keto it's not any better than a traditional weight loss program. However, 12 months down the road shows that a generic weight loss program has a higher success rate of keeping the weight off. So if you're interested in learning more about keto, take a look in the description and an article from the Mayo Clinic. I mean, all in all, my goal is to help you live a happier, healthier life. Well, thank you so much for watching, everybody. I hope you found the video helpful, and if you have any questions, please leave a comment below. I hope you have a joy-filled, blessed week, and I'll see you next time. Take care.